So I'll just think about it, folks, but I really do not wish to participate in social media very much anymore, simply because I don't like the way it's going. And also with Facebook, I think people are becoming far too dependent upon Facebook. For many people, the internet is Facebook and Facebook is the internet. There are shops that don't even have websites anymore, they just have a Facebook page. So it's really, really doing a lot of damage, and it's very much contributing to the centralization of control that this system is working towards. So I think even the name itself, Facebook, it lets you know what it is, folks. It's a database where they can put in people via facial recognition and just find out everything about them, who all their contacts are, and all sorts of stuff like that. There's even one minister in the United States was saying that the countries that are targeted under Trump's travel ban, the people that are coming in that are being investigated should also have to give up their social media passwords so that the authorities, the Department of Homeland Security, can look all through their social media, see what messages they've been sending to people, and just check them out completely. So you can see where they intend to take this, folks. I mean, it's not just going to be for people coming in from foreign countries. It's going to be for everybody. So you can see exactly where they're going with this. So in that, you can see what Facebook is really about, folks. And that is also another reason not to support it. And it isn't a matter of fear not wanting to support it. It's a matter of, by supporting Facebook, you are supporting the control grid, you are supporting the police state, and you are supporting everything they want to bring online. So it's a fine line. Sure, there is convenience there in supporting certain social media platforms, but how much of a trade-off is that convenience to bring this whole New World Order system online? And also, in social media and chat threads, when people are communicating with each other in text online, they need to stop taking themselves so seriously. You know, you can put down a remark and you can make a flippant comment at someone, you can have a bit of a dig at them on the way back, but if you use a swear word or something, people immediately take it to the most ridiculous extreme, like you've actually wished them dead or whatever. It's incredible how serious people take themselves when they read stuff in text, because text removes all emotion from the language. It removes all body language. It removes all heart content. You don't get to understand what people are really saying when you read it in text. You don't get to see the look in their eyes. You don't get to hear the tone of their voice when they make the comment, and you don't get to see the emotion behind it. And this is causing a huge amount of division with people as well. When it's done in text, people take things to the extreme and they take things to heart when there is in fact no heart in the text they have taken to their heart. And that is the problem. And I believe social media is doing a great deal of damage to people, and it's very much inhibiting people's communication skills. It's causing people to think in a very black and white manner and to not put any humanity into the text and the conversations that they're having with people. I think this is very damaging, folks. It's a very left-brained approach to human interaction, and I think it's been done for a reason. I think we've been pushed in this area for a reason, simply because it disconnects us and it causes us to think in a very black and white manner with no real heart in the conversations that we're conducting with other people. I think this is very bad, folks. I think it's doing a lot of damage. That's why I intend to step away from social media as much as I can soon. But I think people need to really look at social media and really stop taking things so seriously in chat texts. You know, people don't always wish you dead if they tell you to go off and drown yourself. It doesn't mean that they actually wish you to go and die, folks. It's just a figure of speech. Sometimes people get frustrated. I certainly do. And sometimes I say things and I'm just surprised at how seriously people take them and how much of a vendetta they then go on when there are far more important things to deal with. But that's just what social media does, folks. It very effectively removes the humanity from human interaction, and I think it's very important that we get this humanity back. It's very important that we learn to look in people's eyes and look at their body language and look at their expression and hear the tone of their voice when we're communicating to people, rather than simply reading the spells that are written on the screen. Another question that I have about Facebook is that, well, I don't know, I'm particularly outspoken. You know, out of a lot of the researchers that I listen to, a lot of people are politically correct in what they do, and I'm really not. I'm very outspoken in what I do. I have no problem naming names. If I get things wrong, I'm quite happy to say that I got things wrong. But I find that there are very few people who are quite this outspoken, and so I also wonder, how much am I putting my Facebook friends in danger? I mean, if I put information on Facebook, I mean, I only really do it to get the information shared, but there's algorithms and stuff in place on Facebook whereby the information isn't really being shared anyway. It just doesn't come up in people's feeds. So how much of a difference am I making by using Facebook? Really, perhaps the only difference I'm really making is I'm providing the powers that be with a list of 5,000 names they can put on their watch list. I have to wonder about that. You know, how much am I actually endangering the people that have friended me on Facebook? I mean, it's one thing to want to be in contact with people, but being someone who's very outspoken, perhaps that is all I'm really achieving by participating in Facebook, so I have to weigh that up as well. You know, and if I do keep a page open, I just won't be participating in it, folks. I'll just be posting my show once a week, but that will probably be about all I'm doing. And that's what the psychopaths count on. They count on us just complying, and most people do so, of course, under the threat of violence, because that's what they use against us to make us comply, is the threat of violence, which is terrorism by default. That's what the government uses to make you into a nice compliant little sheep. They use terrorism, and again, they get away with it because we live in disunited communities. This is why I've said you need to connect with people. And it's okay, maybe you don't get along with your neighbours. Maybe they're just not good people next door. So I created the Full Circle Project so you could go and find people in your community. Why don't you use it? Why don't you find people in your community? Go and have meetings, put up notices on public notice boards and just meet people. Get out there and talk to people. Go to the park, feed the birds, meet other people who feed the birds, talk to them. Something, I don't know. Do what you can to meet people. Do what you can to break down the barriers with people. If you can't meet the people next door, well, go somewhere and meet some other people somewhere else. But just get out and about, get out in the world. Don't take the tech with you. Just get out and try talking to people again, the way we used to. Go find a community garden and go and participate in a community garden. Go and put a couple of hours work in there once a week and get some free vegetables and get to know some of the other people who work at the community garden. You know, go join a UFO club or whatever. Even if you don't believe in UFOs, you'll get some people who think outside the box and maybe they'll want to talk about other stuff. Who knows? If you can't find something to join, maybe start your own. Put up a public notice and start your own meetings somewhere and just discussion groups, something. There's a whole world out there, folks, and there's a whole world of possibility, and I can't provide solutions for you in your own communities. And you've got to figure that out for yourself. I can only do what I can for my community. I get out and I travel and I do what I can for other communities as well, but I can really only do so much. But there are all sorts of ways of getting to know people and breaking down barriers with people, and the key to it all, the first step, is opening the front door and going outside, getting off the computer, getting out of your lounge room, getting away from the television and going and actually involving yourself in the world. Not many people do that anymore unless they go out and meet a little social group somewhere or go to watch a movie or go to a nightclub or go to this or go to that. But try creating discussion groups. Just find somewhere where there's people talking about things and go and put your 2 cents worth in and see what happens. You might get rejected by 3/4 of the room, but then you might find there's 1 or 2 people in there that were actually quite interested in what you were saying.
I want to bring us back to the point that you were making about exploiting consumer behavior in a consumer internet business. You said that this is a time for soul searching in social media businesses, and you were part of building the largest one. What soul searching are you doing right now on that?
I feel tremendous guilt. I think we all knew in the back of our mind, even though we feigned this whole line of like there probably aren't any really bad unintended consequences. I think in the back, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. But I think the way we defined it was not like this. It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are. And I would encourage all of you as the future leaders of the world to really internalize how important this is. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. no civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth. And it's not an American problem. This is not about Russian ads. This is a global problem. So we are in a really bad state of affairs right now, in my opinion. It is eroding the core foundations of how people behave by and between each other. And I don't have a good solution. My solution is I just don't use these tools anymore. I haven't for years. It's created huge tension with my friends, huge tensions in my social circles. If you look at my Facebook feed, I've posted maybe 2 times in 7 years, 3 times, 5 times. It's less than 10. And it's weird. I guess I kind of just innately didn't want to get programmed. So I just tuned it out. But I didn't confront it. And now to see what's happening, it really bums me out. Think about, there were these examples where there was a hoax in WhatsApp where in some village in India, people were afraid that their kids were going to get kidnapped, etc. And then there were these lynchings that happened as a result, where people were vigilante running around. They think they found the person, and I mean, seriously? That's what we're dealing with. Imagine when you take that to the extreme, where bad actors can now manipulate large swaths of people to do anything you want. It's a really, really bad state of affairs. And we compound the problem, right? We curate our lives around this perceived sense of perfection because we get rewarded in these short-term signals, hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value and we conflate it with truth. And instead what it really is fake, brittle popularity that's short-term and that leaves you even more, and admit it, vacant and empty before you did it. Because then it forces you into this vicious cycle where you're like, what's the next thing I need to do now? Because I need it back. Think about that compounded by 2 billion people. And then think about how people react then to the perceptions of others. It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
It sounds like you're taking deep personal responsibility also in being a part of it.
I did a great job there, and I think that business overwhelmingly does positive good in the world. Where I have decided to spend my time is to take the capital that they rewarded me with and now focus on the structural changes that I can control. I can't control that. I can control my decisions, which is I don't use this shit. I can control my kids' decisions, which is they're not allowed to use this shit. And then I can go focus on diabetes and education and climate change. And that's what I can do. But everybody else has to soul search a little bit more about what you're willing to do, because your behaviors, you don't realize it, but you are being programmed. It was unintentional. But now you got to decide how much you're willing to give up, how much of your intellectual independence. And don't think, oh yeah, not me, I'm fucking genius, I'm at Stanford. You're probably the most likely to fucking fall for it. Because you were fucking checkboxing your whole goddamn life. No offense, guys.
None taken.